as you guys have seen, because of the release of our depth chart, Mitch Trubisky is our starting quarterback and our captain. Man, we're just really comfortable with what Mitch has shown us.
Why is it Mitch on Thursday?
Because he gets the most work. You can't give work to three guys, to be quite honest with you. Most of Mason Rudolph's work comes on scout team offense.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to State of the Steelers. Welcome back to another film room session where today we're going to be breaking down Mitch Trubisky's performance in last week's loss to the Arizona Cardinals, 24-10. And I'll be honest with you guys, before looking at this film or whatever, I've never been the biggest Mitch Trubisky fan, so to speak. If you guys listen to any of my podcasts that I talk about on either this YouTube channel or on Steel Curtain Network, I've never been the biggest fan of Mitch Trubisky. I wasn't a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers acquiring him last season. I wasn't a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers extending him this past offseason. Either way, we are where we are. Mitch Trubisky is going to be starting Thursday night against the New England Patriots. And I'll say, before I broke down this film, I thought this was going to be some pretty bad quarterback play. But I got to be honest, I saw some things that the other quarterback just wasn't doing. And I also saw some things that gets Mitch Trubisky into trouble, and he turns into Mitch too risky. I want to remind you guys that all these plays are in order. They're not jumping around back and forth. Let's get into it. Davis is showing a single high safety. You have two guys in pressure in the box, and it looks like you're going to probably have number 3 for the Arizona Cardinals right there on the 15-yard line. Probably drop back as a safety, but this is what they're doing instead. Going to drop 3 guys that they're showing blitzing, and they're going to only actually bring 4 guys, 2 of them being the cornerbacks at the bottom of your screen. Mr. Trubisky is able to read this and find Pat Freiermuth open for a first down. One thing I do want to highlight is Deontay Johnson does appear to come open, but he's really not open. It's because Mitch Trubisky's already let go of the pass that the Arizona Cardinals defensive back in red has started to move towards the bottom of the screen. Had Mitch Trubisky turned upward, that defender would have turned that direction, and he would have been in position to disrupt the play. So this is the best throw on the field, even though, like I said, as the play develops, it appears that Deontay Johnson comes open. That would not have been the case had Mitch Trubisky turned that way. So here's where I'm referencing where Mitch Trubisky might do some things that Kenny Pickett doesn't. You see, there's a couple of defenders in his face already. They're free. As you can see, 3 offensive linemen there don't have anybody. Were caught off guard by the switch. They didn't read it. So you have 3 defenders right there in Mr. Trubisky's face. I mean, Kenny Pickett's been in this situation. He's rolled off to his left, and sometimes that's got him in trouble. Right here on the goal line like this, if he rolls out to his left and doesn't get out of there, that's a safety, which, let's be honest, he should have had one already. On this play here, this is another, throw to the middle of the field to Pat Freiermuth. Since Matt Canada's firing, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been throwing more to the tight end. So I'm not necessarily sure that this is a situation where it's a change of quarterback type of thing. But I do want to point, what I did see out of this play here that I didn't see with Matt Canada's plays are building up or setting up for plays later on, and this play here is going to end up setting up a big play later on in this game. But let's break down what's going on here. You're going to have Pat Freiermuth go up and curl back in, and you're going to have Calvin Austin go up and post. It's kind of very similar to the touchdown pass in Las Vegas. So because Calvin Austin is, and the threat with his speed going up the field here, that's going to pull this middle linebacker way upfield. And the defender closest to Pat Freiermuth that's circled here, his responsibility is actually closer towards the 30, where the 30 is. That's his zone. So he has to play honest in case Calvin Austin stops, does a curl, or even if the outside receiver ends up cutting in towards the middle of the field right here. That's this defender's responsibility. So he has to remain honest on this. That opens up a hole for Pat Freiermuth and a connection between him and Trubisky. Now, this play here is just it's a dime. George Pickens. But the Cardinals are showing again it's kind of the same look, right? You have two defensive backs showing pressure. You have this time you have the safety real close to the line of scrimmage. You have the single safety over the top. This ends up being a blitz. And number 16 here is going to be blitzing towards Mitch Trubisky. And specifically is going to be Jalen Warren's route. It's going to be the one in red. His route there is not only going to prevent number 16 from getting a clear shot to Mr. Trubisky, but it's also going to open up George Pickens' route at the top of the play. Because you have two receivers running up the field, the safety has to play the center of the field and play honest. Number 3, as I mentioned before, Jalen Warren's route is going to force a defender to come down, thus leaving George Pickens open over the top. And that's exactly what's happening here. In fact, George Pickens' man, as you can see, is already going to the ground. It's going to be a wide open throw, and Mr. Trubisky gets it. This is a good view from it right here. Hit that like and subscribe while you're at it. This is where I think Mitch Trubisky kind of struggles, right? It's when it gets down towards the end zone, he gets a little bit too risky, right? Mitch too risky instead of Trubisky. And in this situation here, although had he put a little bit more air on this ball, I think it ends up possibly, a better opportunity for a catch. I just think it's kind of dangerous, but nothing else was open on this play. So again, the defense for the Arizona Cardinals, what they had been doing the entire game was showing one thing and then switching out. And I believe that was because they were game planning for Kenny Pickett. He struggled when the defense was showing one thing, and then after the snap, switched to another player scheme. And in this situation, you're going to have, again, the outside guys going in and the inside guys dropping back. You're going to have George Pickens, who's playing in the slot, do a 12, 15 yards out and then curl back in. Connor Hayward's going to go up and do a skinny post towards the end zone. And like I said, if Trubisky puts a little bit more air on it, it's probably a touchdown or at least a completion. But I get why he did it. Number 10 for Arizona, who was on the line of scrimmage, that middle linebacker, he's not necessarily out of position. I would say that he's in a disadvantage because he's coming off the line of scrimmage, and this is a go route straight. Connor Hayward down the middle. Now, if he was a little bit quicker also, I think maybe perhaps this goes somewhere, but you can't expect a tight end to run 4-4. It's an open area too. It's a big spot. As you can see, everybody else is pretty much covered. I know that Deontay Johnson at the bottom of the screen looks like he's coming open, but the cornerback blocking him just stopped running because the ball was already thrown, and the safety's running away from where he was basically double teaming him. So this is pretty much the only open throw to make. Like I said, I think if it just get a little bit more air on it, just a little bit more, that could have been something. And on this play here, I really don't like the play call, to be honest with you. The routes that end up coming open are long developing routes. Look at where you're at on the field. You're on the 2-yard line. Your offensive line has been iffy at best. Isaac Seumalo's out of the game at this point. Mason Cole's been snapping the ball in the dirt. I just don't like this call, this play in this situation. You also have a backup quarterback that wasn't prepared to be playing. I don't like it. So what you end up having is Deontay Johnson going up for like maybe 12 yards and then curling back in, and a go route on the opposite side as well. And the two interior receiving options are basically going to run the same route, just kind of mirrored out. Nothing's open until Deontay turns around, but by the time he turns around, this play's just too long developing for this moment in this situation, in my opinion. You also got a blitz coming in. I don't like it. Yeah. Now, did Trubisky have a throw? Towards the end when he's running, but this is a cross-body throw that he'd have to do. Right here, you see Deontay Johnson coming open, and Mitch Trubisky is running towards the direct, running up the field. I would think he could make this throw. Still gets positive yards. And on this play here, this is one that I seen Kenny Pickett kind of struggle with a few times. And that's when he's staring down at one receiver or one concept and it's not working out. And sometimes there'll be an under route that comes wide open, whether it's a running back or a receiver just crossing in front of him. He has the tendency of missing that player quite a bit. And in this scenario here, It's kind of the same situation with Mitch Trubisky, except he actually sees Najee Harris coming open underneath. Everybody else is covered. Sees the open guy coming up, open underneath, makes the decision to throw, throws the ball, completion, gain of yards. On this play here, you're going to see the cornerback that is covering the would-be target, Deontay Johnson, is going to end up blitzing into Mitch Trubisky's face. And this is some of the stuff that Kenny Pickett also struggled at. If he saw the blitz coming at him, he was leaving the pocket early. Even if it was picked up and it was clean, he would panic in these situations. Mitch makes the throw into the blitz. And that's basically what I'm referencing is Kenny Pickett struggled to throw the ball into the blitz. Mitch Trubisky shows that he's able to do so in this play here. Now, in this play here, this is the one that I was talking about when it came to the passes over the middle to Pat Freiermuth that I said that we're going to set up something later, a big play later. This is what's going on. Up until this point, the Pittsburgh Steelers were targeting the tight end in the middle of the field here on this curl route. The defenses started to figure that out, and when they saw the tight end coming in, they bid on him. Mitch Trubisky throws it over the top, wide open to Deontay Johnson. This is one of the plays that I like because it's developing, for a play down the field later on in the game when you've shown one thing and you get that tendency out there. And when the defense has seen it so many times and then you hit them in the right moment with something different, that's good offensive play calling. Now, this is the touchdown pass to Deontay Johnson. This is the last play that we'll be looking at. And on this play, Mitch Trubisky just puts the ball where Deontay Johnson can get to it and score a touchdown. He lets it go. I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett doesn't do this or hasn't done this. It's just, when was the last time he had a touchdown pass? Well, guys, like I said at the top of the show, I really thought that I was going to dig into this and see a lot of the same errors that Kenny Pickett was having. The results on the scoreboard weren't different. He only had a touchdown in the entire second half, no other points. And in my opinion, the offense struggled a lot. Now, and when it comes to the negative plays that he had, to be honest with you, majority of them were because the receivers were covered. There was nowhere for him to go with the ball. And sometimes he threw it into the dirt or he threw it where nobody could get it. Well, the one thing I didn't see and what I do see when I break down Kenny Pickett film is wide open guys on plays that don't work for the Pittsburgh Steelers. When the play didn't work in this situation, it was because the other players were covered. Even the risky throw that he made in the middle of the field there to Connor Hayward, I think that was the best decision on the field. It was a big open area. Maybe just got to get a little bit more air under it, maybe some time and practice. He'll get a little bit more consistent and accurate. Kenny Pickett looked a lot better when Matt Canada left. Should we not expect the same from Mitch Trubisky? And if Mitch Trubisky can look halfway decent, like an NFL quarterback that can just manage the game, he can't turn into Mitch too risky. You got to keep him managing the game, especially when you get into the red zone area. Don't let him go too crazy in those spots. When you have an extended field, when you're not so close to the end zone, you have a little bit more of a margin of error thrown into the middle of the field than you do when the field is shrunken and there's players in those spots where the ball, if it gets tipped, if the wrong read was made, or the ball just goes up in the air for whatever reason, there's going to be somebody there to get it. Now, I'm not saying that Steelers are going to go all the way or anything like that, but I do think that maybe, just maybe, perhaps, we might actually see better offense out there. Not saying it's going to be a great offense, but we might actually see a better offense on the field. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about Mitch Trubisky's performance after checking out the film. Do you guys have a little bit more faith in him? Me personally, like I said, I was kind of hoping we'd see Mason Rudolph in this game. Still kind of am. I really don't believe in Mitch too much, to be honest with you guys. But who knows? Maybe he'll turn it around. Let me know in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.